Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, all right, all right, all right. How's it going back there, YouTubers? Can you hear me? I'm live on YouTube and at the same time, I'm live on IG. Shalom, guys. You're welcome to another awesome episode today. Today, I'm going live and I'm going live alone. I'm both live on IG and I'm live on YouTube. I'm going to do something very spectacular today. I'm going to help you pay some attention to your personal financial psychology because I know that a lot of times I put out a post this evening talking about the fact that we must all see our personal finance as a battlefield. And you don't go for battle just fighting. You take some time to understand the battlefield, to come up with strategies, then you fight to win, not trying to fight to avoid a loss. Those are two different things psychologically. This evening I realized that a lot of times people would rather keep fighting in a battle, but they'll never have time to spend to learn about the battle. Your personal finance is a battle. It's a battle. That's why you see people say, I earn a lot, but I really can't really point to what I'm doing with my money. People say, I learn about savings, I learn about investments, I learn about money management. Yes, I have this knowledge, but I'm not putting them to practice. Part of the reason why you know those things, but yet you're not putting them to practice, is your mental, your money psychology. So I'm just going to juggle some thoughts. I'm going to read some quotes and I'll go further and deep in it. I'll go further and break it down. One of the things you must first understand is the fact that until your mind is comfortable with an amount, your life cannot attract or retain that amount of money. You know, you are in an environment, they're talking about giving towards a cause, and they mention a certain amount. You mentally tell yourself they're not talking about me. Because in your heart of heart, you told yourself, no, for amounts like that, they know the kind of people they're talking to. They're not talking about people like us. Automatically, you cut yourself off. You know, psychologically, you think that amount is too big. But if you are asked if you need that amount in your life, you obviously will say yes. But the truth is, your mind can't accept you having that kind of money in your life. So the money sees you. The money to you looks like a danger. And the way psychology works is the fact that once mind believes that something is dangerous, your mind will raise the bar to protect you against such things. So, including an amount that you think is too big for your life, your mind works to help you avoid it. You know, that's one of the things you must learn about your personal finance. You may be working very hard. You may be working very hard, but when your personal financial thermostat is set at a certain amount, anytime you get to that amount, your thermostat kicks up and ensure you do not exceed. Just go do a study about how a thermostat regulates the temperature in a room. When the temperature in a room is set at certain level, when the temperature gets a little beyond that level, the thermostat kicks off to reduce the temperature to that level. The same way your mind works concerning your money. I put out some things on my status this morning, and one of the things I wrote is what I've been talking about. How people want to earn an amount that they on them, or they not mentally see themselves working in. So whenever you earn such an amount, that amount gradually will fizzle away. And there was a question I asked in one of my sessions one day. It looks very rhetoric, but the truth is, until you answer that question, you most likely will struggle. And what's the question? Have you decided to be wealthy? I know somebody will say, what kind of a question is that? Is there anybody that don't want to be wealthy? No, it's not everybody that want to be wealthy. Have you decided to be wealthy? When you decide to be wealthy, a message is sent to your consciousness, and it begins to affect your behavior. It begins to affect your attitude. It begins to affect your disposition. You know, decision is seen in your behaviors. Your decision is seen in your behavior. When you decide, I want to be wealthy, when you even tell yourself, I am wealthy, when you tell yourself, I am wealthy, it's a signal is sent out, and your world begin to look for things that relates to wealth, and they begin to show up in your life. So the question I have for you tonight is, have you decided to be wealthy? If you say yes to that, then I'll tell you the next thing to do. Pursue positive wealth mindset. You must begin to build a positive wealth mindset. Because see, your mind controls your life much more than your wealth. Life is more spiritual than we are willing to accept. Your mind controls your life much more than you are willing to accept. You know, and a positive and a wealthy mindset will begin to attract wealth, will begin to attract related activities that push wealth into your life. One of the things I put on my status this morning is the fact that the greatest asset this season is a wealthy mindset. Wealthy mindset. And the amazing thing for those of you who live in Nigeria is the fact that everything is external is fighting that mindset. Everything external is fighting that mindset. The earning capacity is reducing for some of you, and the prices of things are going up. The message from that scenario is that you're getting poorer. And the broadcast is not helping matters. There's a poverty broadcast everywhere. When people put these equations together, and all they come up with is poverty. And for you who have decided to be wealthy, who have decided to build a wealth mindset, must avoid some environments. You must intentionally avoid some environment. There are environments that you shouldn't be found in. And when I talk about avoiding some environment, includes the pages you follow on so-called Instagram, Facebook, on your social media platforms, the pages you follow, the news you read. I was with John Obidi recently in a private conversation, you know, and I haven't shared for a while. He turned his phone to us and showed the playlist that he has on Twitter. The few persons he read from on a daily basis. He doesn't read your regular Twitter posts that comes from every Dick and Harry. There are a few lists of people that he listens to, that he reads from. Because you must be intentional about building your mind. You must be intentional about building your mind. Never allow your mind, never allow your mind go wild. Never allow your mind feed on junks. Because when you hear some things, when you watch some things, when you read some things, you think you're just having fun. No, you're not having fun. Particularly when you engage in entertainment. What happens when you are consuming entertainment is the fact that entertainment breaks your defense mechanism. You know, when fun comes in, your defense mechanism is broken down, and every thought that comes in settles in. You know, so you may have consumed an entertainment piece and you think all you did was to just have fun. But the truth is that thing sticks and your life begins to produce according to it. Yes, you may have just enjoyed the fun, but the truth is your mind doesn't know when you are making fun and when you're serious. Your mind documents everything it sees. And the amazing thing is that your mind will always reproduce everything. Your life will always reproduce everything your mind accepts. And your mind doesn't have the capacity to filter except you intentionally filter what you see, what you hear, what you say. So the responsibility to filter what gets into your mind is yours. And whatsoever you allow into your mind, whether poverty related or wealth related, your mind keeps it and sees it as something you have approved. So you must be intentional about what comes into your mind. You must be intentional about what comes into your mind. And when you decide that I want to be wealthy, there's another understanding you must have that comes with wealth. Wealth is a weight. Wealth is a massive responsibility. Is the reason why God don't just entrust wealth to children, because wealth has capacity to destroy the immature. Does it surprise you when you see some of these young boys who we call Yahoo Yahoo and all that? You see them come into some amount that they did not grow in, and you see how destructive it's affecting their life. You see how destructive it's affecting their life. So wealth is a weight and it comes with massive responsibility. It is better to grow it than to hit it big without a process. When you hit it big without a process, it takes a lot of maturity to manage and be able to sustain it. So don't just think about blowing, think about building wealth. Think about building wealth and start by first building your mindset. Start by first building your mindset. And you must understand when we talk about wealth, money is not wealth. Money is just one of those expressions of wealth. So you don't think about when we talk about wealth, all we're talking about is acquisition of finances. In fact, in our money month this morning at the Mind Your Money community, what we talked about, was it this morning or yesterday, was with defining wealth. With defining wealth. You know, how wealthy are you relationally? How wealthy are you psychologically? How wealthy are you emotionally? How wealthy are you financially? When I say wealth, money is not wealth, but money is just one expression of wealth. So that you don't take that to another extreme and think that I am wealthy, but just no. Wealth requires a balance. You can't be financially wealthy when you are mentally down. You can't be financially wealthy and you're spiritually bankrupt. You can't be financially wealthy and your health is in trouble. You can't say I'm wealthy because I have money and your relationships are packing up. Your children are what? Your wife is, you know, going haywire, but you have money. That's not wealth. So wealth is far much more than money. And another thing I want to also tell us about poverty is the fact that poverty is not just a lack of money. Scripturally talking, biblically speaking, poverty is a possession. And some of you obviously have signed a covenant with poverty. You own it. The Bible will always say that your poverty shall pounce on you. The Bible always use the word your poverty. Because it starts from the mind. But some of us have so much accustomed ourselves to poverty that things that fight poverty in your life, you fight those things. You know, when I started, I talked about the fact that your personal finance is a battle. It is better to spend more effort learning about the battlefield and building strategies than to keep fighting at the battle. And what do I call fighting at the battlefield? That's working for money. That's all some of us know to do when it comes to money. You are working for money. You are working tirelessly. You have the time to work, but you don't have the time to study about the things you are working about. You don't have the time to invest in learning about the things you are working about. Let me tell you what you're doing. You are perpetuating in poverty. Money, lack of money is not overcome by more work. You don't overcome lack of money by doing more work. I see a lot of young people, they tell you, oh, because they need it, they need it, they need it, they are taking multiple jobs. I appreciate that. Sometimes you just want to be able to get out of the situation you find yourself. But it is not a sustainable strategy when it comes to wealth. It is not a sustainable strategy. When you want to overcome your lack of finances, when you want to overcome poverty, you start by first dealing with the root cause. The root cause of poverty is always ignorance. The root cause of poverty is always ignorance. And when ignorance bets poverty, ignorance sticks to your mind. And once whatever your mind holds to be truth, your life reproduces on a continuous basis. And when you want to fight poverty and all you're doing is seeking for more work, before you know it, you'll be able to answer. Check for people that say, we're just doing what we have to do to make ends meet. The amazing thing is that the hands never meet. So lack of money is not dealt with by having to do many jobs. If you lack finances, first take your time and study about finances. Go study about money. Go read books about money. Go read books about money. No adults in this century have an excuse to be poor, irrespective of the environment you live in. Irrespective of the environment. And that's not a guarantee that we will all be millionaires and billionaires and all of that. But you may not be called a billionaire, but you will never be mistaken for a poor person. Yes, because there are symptoms of wealth. There are symptoms of wealth beyond material things, even the choice of words that comes from your mouth, your reactions, your behavior, your courage. So let everything that represents poverty, fight it. How do you fight it? Ensuring that wealth and related activities are happening in your mind on a daily basis. That is why I recommend the Mind Your Money community for you. At the Mind Your Money community, you get a daily prompt that guides you on something you need to do about your personal finances every day, every weekday. And even on some weekends, I still share some tips that will guide you. So you don't want to live your personal financial life to chances. You don't want to live your personal financial life to chances. Every day your mind is picking something. Your mind is picking something. And one bad thing about wealth is the fact that you cannot read it in a book. You can read about the strategies, but the same book will tell you that you need to seek to be around wealth, because wealth is attracted. Wealth is impacted. Wealth is how do I put it now? Wealth is modeled. When the Bible said, "He that sits with the wise shall be wise," the Bible talks about how Abraham departed and Lot went with him. After a while, the blessing that rested in the life of Abraham was found in the life of Lot, and Lot became wealthy. So, wealth requires modeling. My coach, Ojuko Megu, will always use words like, if I tell you about $1 million, now your mind doesn't have any reference points. But there are children that are born in homes where they hear such words on a regular basis. So, for you to begin to think at that level, you need to find yourself at that circle. And thank God for technology. You can belong to communities that takes you out of your physical environment. It's not about the environment you're in. You can belong to communities that are made up of wealthy-minded people. And because you are in that community, they rub off on you. You talk, you hear them, you see their patterns of reasoning. Your mind begins to adopt new waves. Your brain begins to regenerate new waves. And money begins to understand that this man has shifted level. Finances is a very, very delicate rather, very delicate, you know. So that is a few tips I want to share tonight. I'll be wrapping this up very soon. And in life, there is a school of the poor and a school of the wealthy. The amazing thing is that this school is majorly at home. That's why the best the poor can teach his children is what he knows. Somebody said it's very easy to be poor as an African. You just follow your father's footsteps. That's why you see parents who got out of school, studied well, got a job, worked until they retired, and now their pension can't even afford fare for a car for 2 weeks. But the best advice they have to give to their children is get out of school, get a good paying job, and secure your future through pension. You know why? They don't know better. So if you must alter financial well-being, you must locate community where they are saying stuff that throws you off balance. I asked a question one day. I said, what will you do? What can you do with $1 billion? What can you do with $1 billion? That's a crazy question. Some of us, our minds cannot even accommodate that amount of money. Your mind cannot even accommodate that amount of money. It's outrageous. For your mind, it's outrageous. But the truth is, if you sit down and take your calculator. For instance, you live in Nigeria, convert that money, you see that $1 billion is well in excess of, no, not even $1 billion. I think I actually asked, what will you do with $1 million? That was in excess of 1.2 billion. At that time, dollar rate was 1,200. Just assume that that is God asking you that question. Take your pen and paper, convert that money to naira, for instance, and you see that you have 1.2 billion naira. Then begin to scribble down what you can do with that money. Your mind doesn't know whether you're joking. Your mind doesn't know whether you have money. Your mind begins to develop fresh neurons begins to develop fresh appetites. Before you know it, opportunities around that sphere begins to get attracted to you. Sometimes when I post some of those things out, I'm actually posting out inspirations I'm getting, and I practice them. So sometimes there are amounts I have not touched, but I have outgrown them. I have not touched them. In fact, there are cars, for instance, that I have not driven, but I have outgrown them. Why? In my mind's eyes, I have outgrown those cars. That's why when people talk about their dream cars, I tell people no car, no matter the what, is big enough to be in my dream. I just know that cars are tools, because the kind of people I follow, the kind of inspirations I get, I don't see a car playing in that field. I've never heard about the car that the likes of Bill Gates and the Dangotes of this world they are using. I've never seen the car. I've never heard them talk about the car that Mark Zuckerberg, the car that Elon Musk. I've never seen people talk about the car that they're driving, but rather people talking about the impact they are making, creativity they are bringing to the world, the impact, the changes they are creating. So I particularly don't think about some of those things, and I don't say it's bad if you have your dream cars and all of that. For instance, I see people castigate men of God. I'm talking about private jets. I don't join in such conversations because I know as my responsibility and my duties increases and have a need of a private jet to ensure that I do the work I've been called to do, I'll have it. I'll have it. How? That's none of my business. The how is not my business, but my mind knows that I am qualified for it. I'm qualified for it. So that's the kind of mentality I need you to have. See, someone is working for the government of a nation and he can fly private jets, and you call yourself the son of God. Do you know who God is? Do you know who your father is? And you think that a private jet, a toy, is too big for your life because you know the amount? Come on, come on. That's why I decided to talk about this. Don't limit yourself. I remember going through an interview when I was going to get a job in the bank years back. This is like 2005. And the interviewer, we began to talk about our life aspirations and ambitions. And the interviewer said, "You are too ambitious, you will steal our money." And I started laughing. The guy was shocked. He said, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "I'm imagining somebody like Dangote stealing 10 million years back. That would have been a destruction and a distraction for him." I said, "The kind of wealth I see in my future, nothing today is big enough to tempt me to jeopardize that future." The guy looked at me. Do you know it was supposed to be an interview, but it became a personal conversation. I was sharing at a session that I had with some organizations today, how living a life of clarity make decision making very simple. God has helped me. I've always been very clear as to what I have wanted to do with my life and what I'm doing now. So as far as I am on the path that I have been sent, I'm delivering value and making people's life better. There is no amount of money that I don't deserve. There is no kind of toy in the name of vehicle, be it a car, be it a private jet, be it whatever, that I don't deserve. It's a matter of time. And I need you to think from that perspective. There is no nation that I don't deserve to enter. I was sharing with my community people. I said, what does money represent to you? What does money represent to you? Because the truth is, nobody is actually all out there looking for money. People are seeking for what money represents. To some of you, money represents your next meal. Money represents school fees. Money represents transport fare. But to some of us, money represents freedom, choices, impact, opportunity to make impact and turn the lives of people around. And these are not things that you can pretend about. You know, they are not things you can pretend about. You understand that the money comes, we don't depend on it. We are here on an assignment. The money comes is a means to an end. It's a means to an end. And once you become a channel, money will always come through. And I've never seen a pipe that flows water that is not wet. I've never seen a pipe that carries water from point to another that is not wet. So when you become a channel, you will always be wet. I think I've just sold your mind enough this evening. I just decided to come online today. I'm supposed to be hosting one of these beautiful ladies, but the person I'm supposed to host today happened to be exposed for some good reasons. So I decided to do this with you. And if you are watching this, you're not yet following me on IG, please just click the follow button. More of this will be coming your way as frequently as possible. Then if you are watching me on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. In fact, I most likely may not repost this on IG. If you want to watch the replay, just go to youtube.com/TrescaroHQ. Go to youtube.com and go and watch the replay of this video. Do have a lovely day. Let's do this again next week. Thank you for joining me. Shalom.